Vi as a champion has really been ignored by Riot ever since she came out, never being given good runes or a good build to fit the champion. We have the 1v9 full damage one-shot builds that unfortunately often end with her being the one that gets one-shot, and then on the other hand we have the full tank style that struggles to have success in solo queue. But now, one Korean player has created a specific mixed damage tank build with a very special playstyle that fixes a lot of Vi's problems and turns her into potentially one of the best junglers to go with Season 11 items. Vi might actually be good now, even if Riot did it by accident. By the way, I'm currently doing a birthday stream with lots of fun challenges if you're watching this on April the 8th. I stream every day anyway, so come check it out. Our Vi player is named Jamaican. This guy's story is one of the strangest I have ever seen. Starting in Season 1, he discovered the game. He actually started playing solo after finding the game on a Korean forum, so dived right in alone with no one to teach him. Season 2 was his first ranked season, and you can really tell how addicted to the game he was already, with about 900 ranked games immediately. He was progressing fast. Well, of course he was playing a crazy amount, and he made it to Platinum, which at the time was the top 1.5% of players, only having a Diamond rank above it. So in Season 3, Diamond became his goal. Around the same time all of this was happening, Vi was released. On her release, she was a buggy mess, but that didn't stop Jamaican spamming her immediately. He got a big head start, with other players waiting for her to be fixed before trying her out. 2 patches later, the big bugs were all fixed, and as one of the most experienced players on her, Jamaican started to have some insane success, peaking at the top of Diamond, just outside the new rank of Master. 700 games of Vi, 700 games of Nautilus, 300 games of Urgot, and 200 games of Blitzcrank later, he finished the season at the same rank. No, I have no idea how he had time for this, and yes, this guy probably does play more than all of the NA pros added together. This guy plays a ridiculous amount of games every season. Season 4, another 600 games. No rank change, still in high diamond. In Season 5, he decided to put even more time into the game to hit Master, and he did. After 1,000 games of Vi, of course. Who knows where he got this extra time to give, but the story doesn't end there. Season 6 and 7 actually did take a break from the game, still playing a few hundred games of ranked, but for him that clearly was nothing. Vi was getting into a worse spot year after year, and Jamaican was being punished by Riot for trying to play his favourite champion, dropping down to low diamond. Season 8 is where the story gets a bit off the rails. Just over 1,000 games of Vi, and still he could not make the champion work above diamond. He needed a change. So what do you think he did? Take a break, mentally refresh and come back later? Maybe try a new champion? Or a new role perhaps? Nah, he just played 1,700 games of Vi in one season. That is 4 games every day of this champion, which coincidentally is actually the same number of IQ that is required to join the Riot Balance team. Keep in mind that yes, this guy is playing a lot of games, but 1,600 of these 1,700 games will be in Korean Master. They're not games that he's taking to get to this rank. He's playing against the best players. If there is one player you can trust to learn Vi from, it is clearly this player. Surprisingly, he was rewarded from this spamming of games, finishing that season at 408 LP Korean Grandmaster, just a little bit below Faker. Maybe none of us are really hard stuck, we're all just 1,500 games away from getting to Master. Using Challenger as his motivation, he played another 1,600 games of Vi in Season 10, and then Riot updated all the items, undoing all of his progress. Season 11 he had to create a new playstyle, fast, to adapt. He noticed the domination of chem tank junglers in solo queue and pro play, and gave it a try on Vi. It started to work incredibly well, and he shot right back up to his peak, now playing again at the top of Grandmaster. Let me show you why this new playstyle is so good. So why is this Vi any better than any normal Vi? Turbo Chem Tank is an OP item, all the good junglers are using it, but Riot are not actually nerfing the item. Instead, they're nerfing some of the champions that use it best, which means that Vi can still use it. Chem Tank is so good on Vi for one simple reason. Vi Q actually has a 15% slow when you charge it up. If instead you use Chem Tank first, that slow is removed, taking away one of Vi's weaknesses and making her engage with Q much faster and longer range. In fact, you're still faster than normal walking speed. The range that this item gives Vi for her engages is insane, and she buys it around the same time Vi as a champion starts to power spike, making her mid game even stronger. But the build is not the only thing this player needs for Vi to work in Season 11. Our player also has a very special playstyle to ensure success. You could call it a flowchart. Starting at level 1, our Vi wards a jungle opening and then bases for sweeper. This one is a 200 IQ ward that actually avoids enemy sweeper if they run through to your red, but you still see them. You should always base for sweeper on a jungler, as it helps you find out when you are on vision and when you are safe to gank. A gank, if you're on vision, can lead to a waste of time, or even worse, a counter gank, which can even lose the game at high elo. Our Vi then has one jungle path that maximizes Vi's strengths. Starting on the bottom side of the map, he does red buff with leash and then raptors, positioning carefully on this spot to land an AoE spell on all of the small ones, then repositions to land the AoE again. Then he does wolves, blue and gromp. He never uses health potions for this clear. Vi's clear is very healthy, so avoid the urge to use them. This leaves him level 3 right as the crab spawns, ready to take it fast, with his Q getting rid of the shield. Ideally, next Vi goes right to bot crab, then starts his path again, starting at golems, layering raptors next, then wolves and gromp again. This leaves him a couple camps away from level 6, Vi's biggest ganking power spike, and level 6 is the point she wants to get to as soon as possible every game. At level level 6 he goes right onto Dragon and solos it with his shields. Again, Vi really takes 0 damage, even against the air dragon, which is the one that attacks the fastest. This focus on Dragon might be surprising, but it is something Vi as a champion specialises in. She can Q over the wall to get in unnoticed, do the dragon quickly, staying high HP, and then Q away at any time she needs to. Teams who take the first dragon average a 63% win rate, so this Vi focuses heavily on it, and it does not stop there. Vi can continue to do this throughout the game, giving his team an extra win condition at all times. Laners always expect taking dragon to be their jungler's job, and finally, for this one champion, it actually is her job to do it. What if you're against a stronger early game jungler, or just cannot contest top crab? In low elo or against a slow clearing jungler, top crab should always be free, because the enemy jungler won't get there in time. In high elo, this Vi sometimes has to give up top crab. Here's a good example for his topside clear. Same camps in the same path, blue to Gromp to wolves to raptors and red. He sees that his mid lane is very pushed in under tower, so can't help with the crab, so instead this Vi goes to bottom crab instead, before going into a flanking bot lane gank, which does work. No one thinks you'll be in the bush behind their tower. Jamaican is also constantly watching his lanes. If he sees an enemy overextending in their lane, he stops his normal plan and ganks them instead, with a very special Vi only path. Here top is overextending, so he Qs through Baron Pit to avoid the ward, waits for the cooldown, and then ganks from far behind, forcing Riven to suicide, rather than give him an assist. Same thing here, he is on the normal path, then sees a gank happening top, so he runs straight there to counter it, ending with a double kill. At level 6, Jamaican has ultimate, and also most likely has cooldown boots, so he is ready to start spam ganking with ultimate. The cooldown reduction Vi gets from these boots, as well as from Chem Tank, and its mythic passive, which also gives ability haste, all add up together to create a new Vi, a much more mobile Vi, with her Q up more often to dash around and CC enemies. From here, think of her style like an Udyr, speeding around the map, farming to get Chem Tank, and then ganking as often as she can. An Udyr is still one of the best junglers this season, but there is one big difference between her and Udyr, and that is her ultimate, which makes ganks much more effective, as well as much longer range than Udyr could ever do. Also, her Q is better CCs than Udyr's, because it acts as a knockback, which can interrupt jumps or dashes. Flash Q is a very important extra strategy to learn on Vi. It gives her a big range extension, and a surprise factor to get kills. Start charging your Q, flash just before the full charge, and release Q right away. You can also do the harder version, where you release Q and flash afterwards to redirect it. It's much more surprising for enemies, and can only be dodged if enemies predict you're going to do it, using their flash first. Teamfights, again, are more complicated than you expect on Vi. People assume she can just use her ultimate on a carry in the backline, and then your team will follow and kill them. But if you go in on the backline alone, most of the time you'll get focused down, and give the enemy team a free pick before a fight. This Vi basically never plays Vi like you expect her to be played. Instead, he focuses on using his ult and Q on the front line, fighting as his team's main tank. If he lands an ult into a Q, their front line is dead to his team's damage. If he goes in on the enemy backline, 90% of the time, their backline don't die, especially in solo queue, and as damage gets higher and higher in League of Legends. 1 second in a group of enemies is death, so you cannot go in and tank it while waiting for your team to arrive. This playstyle is also not full damage Vi. You are not attempting to one-shot someone, you're aiming to stay mobile, stay alive, and keep CCing enemies, like an Udyr with knockups instead of a stun. Here's a great example, which also shows how much damage this build does. Baron fight. Vi ignores the Talon on the side, queuing instead onto the main focus of her team, the Nautilus support. Kennen TP's in, Vi ults him to let her team peel back. Vi keeps autoing for DPS. Talon then ults in, so Vi saves her Q again to CC Talon and peel for her team. Q lands on Talon, he dies in the big group. From there, Vi uses her insane damage to win this fight, going target by target. This is the kind of fight you would never expect a tank to win, but in Season 11 they always do, especially thanks to the shielding Vi gets. Here's another really good peeling team fight. Rel gets an engage, Vi follows it, not going on the Aphelios in the backline, who he could reach if he wanted to, instead preferring to stay in range of his team's damage. Vi sees Rek'Sai going for a backline dive, so he leaves his previous target, instead ulting Rek'Sai and killing him instantly with his team. Now back to the main fight, using Q to chase and finish off Victor with a flash Q, securing his team a Baron. Even in early fights, he is doing the same thing. Here Thresh gets a great hook. Vi could get over the wall and ult Thresh to one-shot him, or engage onto the carries next to Thresh, but instead, Vi makes a weird play, ulting Renekton as he is the closest target who will soon try and dive Vi's backline. Vi ults him and Qs afterwards to full chain CC, as well as knock Renekton into his team. Similar to an Insec, just a bit shorter, but in a way this combo is actually better than an Insec. It CCs for longer, and doesn't kick Renekton onto the Varus, so Renekton doesn't even get a chance to get a kill before he dies, he just stays locked in place. There is one final really useful way this guy uses his ultimate, again, not to dive. Here, Vi makes a mistake. Mordekaiser ults, and Vi cannot help his team, so Vi tries to go into the backline, almost dying. To escape, Vi has one option, use ultimate to reposition. He ults Mordekaiser and gets back to safety. Kai'Sa has to ult in to chase, and ends up getting CC'd to death. If he had ulted Kai'Sa instead here, Vi would have died quickly afterwards, and Kai'Sa would have won the fight. fight. Do not fall into the trap that playing Vi creates. You are not a diver. If anything, you're closer to Janna than you are to a Talon. Your damage is so high, but your utility is more important. Keep this peeling idea in your mind every fight, and your win rate will keep going up. For his build, he starts Red Smite and Refillable. An ideal first base is Boots and Balmy Cinder, otherwise he rushes Ionian Boots first for 900 gold. They are the most OP boots right now, being built in every role except AD Carry, and they fit this style perfectly. First item, Turbo Ken Tank. Second item, he goes for Starix Gauge most games. This really keeps him alive in fights unexpectedly. The HP gained on the shield scales off your maximum HP, so it synergizes well with Chem Tank. As any jungler, your goal should be to win the game by 2 items. As a tank jungler especially, more items actually equal a weaker champion in comparison to the full damage champions, who only get stronger. Any more items will be situational. For example, if enemies have a lot of healing, get Bramble Vest into Thornmail. If enemies have a lot of magic damage, he builds Spirit Visage, but Force of Nature will be a great item too. Black Cleaver is his final item to help his team get through enemy frontline, but of course you should only get this if they have armor and your team has AD. Here's his runes he takes every single game, and he has taken the same ones for a couple seasons now, so they must be pretty good. These give him enough damage as well as survivability to stay relevant as both a tank and a damage dealer. I'm playing Vi on stream right now to show this playstyle off, as well as playing lots of off-meta picks from all my videos, live every day at 12 PM GMT. By the way, only 21% of people who watch my videos are actually subscribed, so please subscribe if you enjoyed. Lots more high quality off-meta videos coming out every week. Like the video if you enjoyed. Thanks so much for watching.